All right.
Okay. Okay, welcome to the first quarterly meeting for the Tooele City Library Board. Today is January 18th, 2024. Let's go around and do roll call. So if you just want to go ahead and say your name, if you want to go ahead and start, Crystal.
Crystal Larmore.
Melody Barnett.
Julie Bruff.
Crystal Ford.
Chase Randall.
Eric Niven.
Melody Gotches.
Great. All right. So
We are missing Berna, who we'll have to excuse for the day.
Berna Slana. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to reports. So City Council Rep, Melody, how do you pronounce your last name? Goches.
Yes.
Goches. Okay.
I'm pleased to be able to be on the board. I know that Tony Graff was serving and that he was really passionate about the library, so I'm happy to take over in his footsteps. As far as City Council information, we did have City Council meeting on Wednesday, and on the previous Friday, we had a budget discussion. So we are beginning to discuss budget for the year. So there'll be reports from our department heads that turn in their requests. So I'm sure that we're preparing to meet the needs of the library. So just wanted you to know that we're working toward that. It was a productive meeting. Myself personally, I'm very interested in being a supporter of the library. My mother was a clerk for the Bookmobile Library in Grantsville for over 40 years. And so I know well the requirements of the library, and I met with Chase on Tuesday this week so that we could make introductions. So he brought me up to speed about some of the things that you're accomplishing. But if you have any questions of me, I'm happy to answer them.
Great. All right, so let's go to library reports with Chase.
Perfect. So you all have a copy of my notes here for my report. So just as an update for your information, from October 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, we averaged about 563 visits a day, according to our gate tracker. We now have 12,261 persons with active library cards. Of that, 682 of them are non-resident cards. So people from Stansbury and other places. It's kind of funny. We have more library card holders from Stansbury than the Stansbury Library has library card holders.
Really?
It's kind of funny. And then the big thing that I'm going to be presenting before the City Council here, the February 7th, assuming everything goes well, is that we're going to be proposing to update the library fee schedule to account for the $30 attorney fee, which what that is basically is we don't charge fines for overdue items, basically just please return it or pay for it. And if a person doesn't either return it or pay for it, or if they damage the book and then don't replace it or pay for it, then after 30 days, if they haven't done that, we then refer them to the attorney's office for the city, and then the city attorney sends them a letter basically saying, hey, you gotta either pay this bill or replace the item. And then at that point, if they still haven't by the time we refer them to the attorney's office, we add an extra $30 fee to their account to cover that extra cost in administrative paperwork. And we never had it in the fee schedule. I don't know why. It's just a housekeeping item. We've had it for as long as I know of, but we're just making it kind of more official on the fee schedule. And then the other change is the interlibrary loan cost. It used to be just $3 that a patron would have to pay if we wanted to borrow a book or an item from a different library and have it shipped here. But just due to the increase in postage costs and everything over especially the last couple of years, that fee hasn't been updated in over 10 years. And so just to kind of account for inflation, so the library is not just taking a huge loss on that every time. And then the new thing that we're doing is we're going to be adding faxing services. So currently, the only place in the community where patrons or people can use a faxing service is through the UPS store. And I know Macy's had it, but they recently actually just discontinued that back in December. And so we have people, it's not super often, but once or twice a week, someone will be like, hey, do you have a faxing service? No. So this is us. We're going to be adding that in February, and then we'll be charging 50 cents a page/side. So to both send or receive. I doubt we'll get too many receive requests. Who knows? But we get a decent amount of send because government and medical is kind of the two things where faxing is still a thing instead of email. And who knows? It'll eventually, maybe I'll be back before the city council to remove that if we get no one using it or something for a year or something like that. But we'll see. And that leads into that we'll be offering it by mid-February is the goal, assuming there's no technical difficulties. And then kind of like what Councilwoman Gochis was saying, that I'm going to be starting my fiscal year 25 budget discussions with the mayor in the next couple months. I have some spreadsheets that I'll be filling out over the next month, and then I'll probably have more details for you guys in the next budget meeting. One other thing I forgot to add on here, I emailed all of you to your toolecity.gov email that there is a training put on that since you're on a board that you do have to do it's a 10-minute video basically talking about how to handle a public meeting. Please complete that, and then you'll get a certificate that you just need to download and just email it to me so I can get it to the city recorder so we can have that on file. So please.
You need a copy?
Yeah, I need a copy, please. And then also you should have all gotten like emails from what's called Know Before. That's just training on how to avoid spam and phishing attempts, things like that. Not as relevant for you guys, but still, if you can please just take a minute or two and review those and be all up to date on that. Our IT department would greatly appreciate that. Has anyone had any issues with their emails? Everyone been able to get in to the email?
I haven't had issues, but I also didn't do it yet.
Okay, you can. That's fine as long as you're getting in. Just make sure to take care of that.
Talk to Steve.
Yeah, you can talk to Steve if you need some help, and I can work with you on that. As far as staffing news, we are fully staffed, and one other thing that I thought I'd note with that this ties in with the budget discussions is we actually had technically as part of our budget an extra part-time employee that we didn't fill, and I've actually talked with HR and the mayor that I don't think we need to fill that. So that's we're trying to make sure that being as efficient with taxpayer dollars as possible. We're fine. We're staffed well as we are. So I decided to say, hey, like I know that obviously with inflation and everything and the budgets, I know it's not a lot, but hey, every little bit helps. So we are fully staffed and good to go there, and I'll let you know if that changes. I talked about this last time, but just as a quick update. So yeah, our next big thing that I'm going to be asking the mayor for this spring in the budget discussions is to update our back entrance area and basically make the awning much bigger and redo the cement there because our little ramp, the tree roots have made it so the sidewalk is approaching a tripping hazard, pretty uneven, and just that want to update that whole area to make it safer and easier for staff to get books from the book drop. So that'll be my big ask for CapEx funds this year, and I'm optimistic that we'll get that. And then also, as more kind of like required stuff, we'll be getting a new boiler and chiller in the next couple of years because ours is the age of the building and they look it. So, and the company is like, does the whole, we're not making replacement parts anymore and stuff like that. So that's going to get those taken care of, and that will hopefully also reduce our expenditure. Because just for an FYI, we spend $27,000 a year on electricity for this building. So, yeah. So, but the new chiller and the new boiler are high efficiency or will be high efficiency. So I know City Hall saw some savings when they got their boiler and chiller replaced. So hopefully that'll help us too. And then I'm also looking into xeriscaping and stuff like that for next year's budget. More details to come as I move forward on that project. And then we still have those hotspots available for checkout. We have scaled down to only having 10 hotspots just to save some money, and those are getting checked out decently. If we do find demand has increased, I can get more in as well. And something else I totally forgot to put on here, we now offer streaming services. So you can use your library card it's called Canopy, and you can stream movies and TV. It's not going to be like your top tier items, right? Like don't expect any Marvel shows on there anytime soon. But it does have a decently robust collection and a lot of good kids stuff too. So make sure to let people know that you can use your library card to get books, ebooks, e-audiobooks, and streaming and everything as well. So we have flyers and stuff here at the library. We posted it on Facebook, and I did send out an email message about it as well. So spread the word that the library's got that. Upcoming event highlights, you all have a little calendar in front of you for February 2024. That's our calendar of our different programs that we have going on during the month. Just to run through those really fast, we've got the Leap into Learning preschool on Mondays, baby bookworms on Tuesdays for for baby bookworms. And then we have story time every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And then we have our tween club and teen time every Thursday, our wacky Wednesdays at 1. And a new program that we're starting out to kind of see if there's interest in it is a Adulting 101 series. So tailored for the 18 to 25 year olds. And it was pretty funny when I brought it up at the mayor meeting that we were doing that. I had a lot of people ask, well, wait, why stop at 25? It needs to go up to at least 30 or 35. But for now, 18 to 25, and we'll see how that goes. And then one other thing I forgot to put on there, but it's on the calendar, is we also have a senior activity on February the 9th. It's a 11 a.m. bingo. So we're working to expand our program offerings as well. And then the last thing, the main item of business for today will be not as many stuff as last time, but just 2 new policies that I'll be proposing to the board. The lost and found policy and the faxing policy, and we'll go over those in detail at that time in the meeting. So, thank you. Any questions?
I have a question about the faxing policy.
Yes.
Do you already have a fax machine?
So, yes and no. So we don't have a dedicated fax machine. We have our copier scanner that we're actually in the process of getting an e-faxing set up. Because I didn't want to get a standalone machine just due to the capital investment there and the cost. But this way it's an e-faxing, so that way if in a couple of years no one needs a fax and it's been like a year or something, it's not going to be a huge cost to the library to either turn it on or turn it off. And so this way they'll be able to just walk up to that printer scanner, basically type in the phone number, and then type in their email if they want an email receipt of it, hit send, and then it scans them and sends it. So that's where it's depending on testing it more thoroughly, because we tested it, seems to be working, but that's going to be my project next week, is to really kind of give it the stress test to make sure it's fully working. And I anticipate it will. So that's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, public comment period. We do not have any public here, so next, discussion items. Welcoming our new board members.
Melody?
Melody.
Yes. Welcome.
Perfect. Okay, new board positions, question mark. This was put in there because I am attempting to sell my house and to move out to South Rim. So it's all dependent on the actual sale of my house. It seems to be a fairly good market right now. So unfortunately, I would be leaving the board because as a non-Tooele City resident, you cannot volunteer for Tooele City positions. So that actually drops me out of a couple of the things that I do around here, unfortunately. It'll give me some time to do other things, I guess. So keep that in mind if you do want to be the chair. I guess we will make it official when it actually comes.
Yeah, that's my question. We don't need to make any changes yet, right? 'Cause you're
Not yet.
Okay.
It's still a little up in the air, and I'm a little nervous about it. So.
Okay. So maybe an agenda item for next board meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
But definitely keep it in the back of your minds that this spot will be open and there will be someone that needs to be the chair. So. Okay. Next, new policies and procedures. Chase?
Yes. So first off, let's take a look at the lost and found policy. So this one was born out of the fact that we have a ton of junk in our lost and found. All the water bottles you could ever want, which I think is a universal lost and found thing. But
Display them.
Right?
yeah. So prior to me, I wanted to have a solid policy in place before I took care of all the junk, just to make sure there's no problems, right? If someone gets mad that I threw away their stuff, I want to be able to say, here's a policy, this is what we do, because there's not anything, not even an informal policy right now. Just put it in the junk drawer, essentially, is the informal policy. So I'm going to go ahead and read it through with you guys, and then we can talk about if you have any questions or wording suggested changes. I have run both of these policies by the city attorney, and he's given his thumbs up. So go ahead. I'm sorry, I ate a frog last night. All right, so policy objective. The Tooele City Public Library provides this policy to help patrons reclaim lost and found items or items that are inadvertently left behind or misplaced during their visit to the library. Responsibility. The Tooele City Public Library is not responsible for the security of personal items brought onto library premises. The library is not responsible for theft or damage to vehicles, bicycles, or personal property while on premises. Lost and found items. If the owner of the lost and found item satisfactorily identifies the lost item, the item will be returned. Perishable items such as food, beverage containers, and personal care items are not considered lost and found items and will be disposed of immediately. Lost and found items will be dated and stored for a period of 14 days. Reasonable attempts will be made to contact the owners to the extent ownership is known to reclaim their lost items. Items not claimed within 14 days will be considered abandoned property and will be donated to charity or discarded at the discretion of the director. Certain types of property, including but not limited to unclaimed identification documents, driver's licenses, credit cards, wallets, laptops, and cell phones, will be forwarded to the Tooele City Police Department as lost or mislaid property. Basically, if it's worth something, then we're not just going to throw it away. We'll take it to the police department, and they can deal with it. Flash drives left in the library will be held for 14 days due to patron privacy and computer security. Library staff will not access data saved on flash drives to determine ownership. After 14 days, flash drives will be considered abandoned and be wiped and discarded.
Is that common? People leave their flash drives?
We have a handful, not a ton, but yeah.
You leave them in the
They
computer.
put them in the
Yes,
computer
right.
and completely forget about them. Documents left in library copy machines and scanners will be kept for 14 days and then shredded. And then after 14 days, unclaimed books will be donated to the Friends of the Library. And we just had someone leave their book the other day. The librarian was like, wait, what's this book doing on the shelf? And it wasn't our book. It was just a book that didn't have any library stuff on it. So who knows, someone set it down and forgot. So, okay, any questions, concerns, comments about the lost and found policy? Okay. All right. I guess we can,
Do we have a vote on it?
yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to vote for the placement of the Tooele City Public Library Lost and Found policy?
I move that we accept the Tooele City Public Library Lost and Found policy as it's presented.
Can I get a second?
I will second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Sweet. I will print an official version right after this meeting for you guys to sign. Next is a faxing policy. So in preparation for us being able to offer faxing services, wanted to have a solid policy in place for that. Policy objective, the Tooele City Public Library provides this policy to govern the use of faxing services at the library. Fax policy 1.1. The Tooele City Public Library is not responsible for the quality of faxes received or sent, including missing pages, bad transmissions, failure to transmit, wrong fax numbers, or incomplete information. Patrons are expected to confirm the receipt of the fax by the other party. No faxes may be sent less than 15 minutes before the library closing time. The fax service may not be used for any legal purpose, and patrons must abide by all copyright and other laws. If patrons are expecting to receive a fax, they must come to the library and inform a librarian. Received faxes will only be held for 3 library business days, after which they will be discarded. For the cost of faxing services, refer to the library fines and fees schedule. So simple, straightforward. And the 15 minutes before library closing is just to ensure we're not having to hang around while someone's trying to figure out things, and we don't want to have to wait for them to finish it up. So.
Yeah.
Any questions, concerns, comments?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the Tooele City Public Library faxing policy?
I move to do that.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have approved the Tooele City Public Library faxing policy.
Get a
Oh,
vote.
no, we have to vote first. It's been a long time since I've run a meeting like this before. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we have officially approved the faxing policy.
Likewise, don't leave, but right after this meeting, I'll hurry and print an official version for you guys to sign. And while we're on that note, did I spell everyone's names correctly? Please look at the back of your paper verify that I have everyone's names on there and spelled correctly, and that I didn't just forget Julie this time.
I'm just worried that you've covered all your bases as far as problems.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
Batch emissions, failure to transfer, phone faxing.
well, because I looked up other libraries' faxing
See what they
policy
did.
and was like, okay, what have they done?
Well, you start enumerating, oh, you better get them all then.
Yeah, well, that's always. Yeah. Okay. No problems. Everyone's names are spelled correctly and everything. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, last meeting's minutes and discussion of the new policies passed in the last meeting. We went over quite a few, so.
Yes. Does anyone need to be reminded of what was discussed? I didn't know if we wanted to have more discussion about last meeting and the public comment period, or any of the new policies and procedures that we put in place. Because just to remind everyone, we updated the collection development policy to have that you have to be a Tooele City resident or library card holder to request items or to challenge a book or item. And then we added a programs policy, a decorations and display policy, and a community and reading room policy. So I don't know if there was anyone wanted to have any discussion about any of those things more than what we had at that meeting, that marathon meeting that we had. So
I just have a question, Mr. Chair. Well, she's the chair, sorry.
That's okay.
Director Randall, is there a cost for using the community room?
no, we do. We currently do not charge any sort of fee or anything. I know other libraries do so. We haven't seen a need of maybe if we reached a point where maybe if there was just sheer volume, then maybe a fee would help control volume. That's not currently a problem. And we don't allow for-profit entity, or like, you can't reserve the room for commercial purposes. Whereas I know at like Salt Lake City Library, they have big conference rooms and stuff that 100% they're doing commercial purposes and stuff. So given our size and the nature of the library, I don't think we need to, or that it's warranted at this time. But that, depending on circumstance, we can definitely look at that.
And then a second question along with that. Do you reserve through the library, or do you reserve through a Parks and Rec app with the city, just here?
No, we have a binder, and that's one of the projects that I want to look at this year, is to get some sort of digital solution for that. It's frustrating, it's annoying to have to just look in a calendar binder and find stuff. So that's one of the things I want to look at this year, is to get some sort of digital solution, possibly like what Parks and Rec is doing, or to have our own thing, because there's a lot of stuff for libraries.
Thank you. Can I ask one other question, please?
No, you only
Of course.
get two.
Of course.
I'm just teasing.
I just see in the discussion items in your past meeting that you discussed, this book is gay and gender queer, were books mentioned during public comment. What was the,
The public comment was a woman had come in and she was concerned about the display of the books. So it was one of the hotspot books and it was in the adult section. But she was uncomfortable with those being displayed where her children could see them, where it's not a book that she would personally let her children be involved with. So she was just bringing up her concern that it was one of the display books. It was actually part of, what was the theme?
Banned books.
It's a
Banned
banned
books.
book week, where
Yeah.
basically the ALA, the American Library Association, every year they get a list of like the top 10 most challenged books. So essentially, libraries that report to the ALA, hey, someone submitted a request that we either remove this book or move this book in the library, like from the YA section to the adult section or something like that. And then they have their list of the top 10, and then they highlight that to say, hey, these books were the most challenged, read them. And so in the past, and some staff members had for several years done this display, and they did that display, and those were some of the books that were there that are definitely very adult books. And so the display location was right where we have our new book selection, which is right as you pass the circ desk. You can see there's the new books, and then the DVDs, and then the adult section is right behind there. So that's where the display was. So it's kind of, you see it as you come in the library, but it is in the adult-ish area of the library.
Okay,
So
so
she
they're
was
not
just-
banned books, they're still available, and you and I did discuss the
Yeah.
banned book display. I didn't know that that was part of it, so I
Yeah.
just see that it was mentioned in public comment.
She didn't mind that the book was at the library, just that it was displayed.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
I did note one thing on the minutes that we might need to change is it doesn't state
Only one.
who the vice chair is.
That's not essential.
I don't think I missed that as I went
It's
around.
not essential, says the vice chair. It's not
Maybe we can
essential,
just
that's fine.
move you up.
So I guess, I don't know if I'm not a member, I guess one of you would have to like motion to add that to the minutes, or how does that work? I'm not sure. Okay.
Make a motion.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion to move, can I get a motion to add to the minutes of last meeting for Eric Niven to be the vice chair?
I will motion for that to be added.
Can I get a second? I think you're, one of you to have.
I'll second it.
All
Pulling
opposed,
teeth
or,
here.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay.
It will be added to the minutes that Eric Niven is our vice chair voted in at the last meeting.
I didn't see any other issues with the minutes. Did anyone else see anything that they wanted to add or change? I guess note when our next meeting is. I think. We're looking at April 18th for the next meeting. Every 3 months. Does that work for everybody? Off the top of your head.
When?
The third.
April
So,
18th.
yeah, so the third Thursday. Is there any reason that we shouldn't do the third Thursday? So April 18th.
When's spring break? The next week?
No.
No, it's
That's the
before
end
that.
of
Last
March.
week of March.
Oh, yeah, that's
They're attaching it to
so
Easter.
interesting. Are they?
Easter's the weekend.
Sorry, what was the date again? April
18th.
13th.
End of it.
18th.
Just a motion to adjourn. Is there,
Nothing.
is there anything else?
Okay, does anyone else have anything we need to discuss tonight? Okay. Do I need to motion to end the meeting too, though? Okay. Can I get a motion?
Oh, I
to-
will motion. No, I do motion that we end the meeting.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All approve?
Aye.
Any opposed?